Good morning, my name is Elizabeth Brooks, and I would like to present for you my interview with Mr. Mark Brooks for my Higher Education Administration program. So I interviewed Mark Brooks, who's the Director of Financial Administration at South Georgia Technical College. The interview took place September 16, 2016, in the Administrative Conference Room of the Odom Center at South Georgia Technical College. He wore a gray suit with a navy blue tie to the interview and stressed the importance of first impressions when you're interviewing, namely the way that you're dressed, the way that you greet your interviewers, and feeling approachable and professional. So prior to working at South Georgia Technical College, Mr. Brooks received a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from Valdosta State University in 1982. He worked while he was in college at JCPenney's. He was hired as a purchasing manager and stayed in that position from 1978 until 1988. He was then hired as a purchasing agent at South Georgia Technical College in 1988, the year that he was married, and he and his wife moved to America, so they were looking for a more local job, and Mr. Brooks had done purchasing at JCPenney, so this job was a perfect fit for him. He was promoted to financial and budget specialist in 1996 after 8 years at the school. And then he was promoted in an additional 12 years to Director of Financial Administration. So Mr. Brooks is currently the Director of Financial Administration. He reports to the Vice President of Financial Affairs and supervises a department secretary, accounts director, and 4 financial accounts personnel members. So he's responsible for a total of 6 personnel. His department is responsible for overseeing the following procedures at the institutional level. They oversee student accounts, employee travel and reimbursement, institutional financial matters, and institutional budget adherence for the fiscal year. The mission of the Financial Administration Department is to promote and maintain appropriate financial matters within the yearly fiscal budget to ensure the financial success of South Georgia Technical College. The way that Mr. Brooks explained it was their mission is to make sure that the money they spend is less than the money they make. This department has doubled in size in the past few years. It went from 2 financial accounts personnel members and the director to 4 accounts personnel, an accounts manager, a secretary, and the director. So as enrollment increased, so did the size of this department. As school enrollment continues to increase, the need for additional financial administration department personnel increases as well. This is a flow chart of the dynamics of Mr. Brooks' department. As you can see, everyone reports to the Vice President of Financial Affairs, which is who Mr. Brooks reports to, and then the accounts assistants all report to the Financial Accounts Manager, who in turn reports to Mr. Brooks. So just a little information about the department. Their current budget status is that the allocation for fiscal year 2015-2016 covered all expenditures, with additional funding remaining. That additional funding will then be rolled over for the next fiscal year to cover anything that may not have been budgeted for. Their biggest financial need within their department is additional personnel to handle the growing number of both student and instructor accounts. This year, South Georgia Tech really pushed for an increase in enrollment and met their goal, which is a great thing, but along with growth comes additional responsibilities. And the financial department is one that needs additional personnel to handle these additional responsibilities. Their biggest accomplishment in the previous 5 years is becoming SACS accredited, as well as obtaining a grant for updated accounts payable software. The software is updated yearly, so it's really important to stay on top of things. And this grant allowed them to update an additional 5 years worth of software. So it was very helpful to kind of get them up to date and allow them to continue to update so that they'll stay on track with the budget and financial aid software. Their biggest difficulty in the previous 5 years was meeting deadlines efficiently before the hiring of 2 additional personnel members. So one of the biggest questions I asked him is, what does the Financial Administration Department think is the biggest issue facing higher education? And he cited financial aid as one of the biggest issues. He said that a lot of students have a very hard time affording college. Even if they receive Hope Scholarship or Hope Grant, which covers most of the tuition, the fees and books and room and board and meals, all of those things combined oftentimes are overwhelming, and students will have a balance. If they can't pay their balance, they're removed from the classes and they can't re-enroll in classes until they pay off the balance, which oftentimes results in students not coming back to college. Not graduating from college leads to difficulty finding a good paying job. So it's kind of this cycle of poverty due to lack of education, and it's very hard to break out of it. The plans for the Financial Administration Department in the future include hiring additional personnel as enrollment continues to increase and accounts expand. They also plan to budget to allocate funds for additional training for these new personnel members. And they plan to update software whenever possible in order to stay current in software, and mainly continue to adapt to meet student needs in terms of financial aid and the financial accounts. In Mr. Brooks' opinion, the best part of his position currently at South Georgia Tech is the fact that he's got creative freedom to explore solutions and figure out what works best for his department. He also enjoys his flexible hours and the team of employees that he gets to supervise. His least favorite part of his current position are the strict deadlines and the lack of adequate help to meet those deadlines. But overall, he's absolutely satisfied with his current position. He stated that he works with an incredible team and has great benefits and insurance and feels like he's making a difference in people's lives, which is very fulfilling. When asked what his future career aspirations are, he became very excited and stated that he gets to retire in May of 2018. So he's going to stay in the same position until May of 2018 and then turn it over to somebody else. So I asked him what advice he has for me as I begin my career in higher education, and he had valuable pieces of information. He told me to set career goals and to make sure that I don't lose sight of them and I continue to pursue them. He told me to never stop bettering myself and always strive to gain more knowledge and education. He also told me to make sure that I am the best possible that I can be at my current position and to work hard and to make sure that I'm knowledgeable about my current position because those are things that will be noticed. He also told me that the most important piece of advice he could give me is to find a career at an institution that I love. He told me that if I look forward to going to work every day and enjoy what I do, I will never feel like I'm working a day in my life. My initial reaction to the interview was that I was surprised to hear of the lack of help when they need it, and I was surprised to hear about the difficulty obtaining funds for software. With as much of an emphasis as our college places on technology and on being current, I'm very surprised that the software that kind of drives the budget for the whole college is not up to date. I feel like that could lead to some issues in the future working with outdated software. I would work for the person that I interviewed. If he wasn't my dad, I would be delighted to work for him. Even though he cited the lack of help several times, he also reiterated the fact that they are a very cohesive team that works well together. If one of them has to be absent or is in a training, everybody else just kind of picks up the slack. And he said it's almost like you would never know a person wasn't there. They just hit the ground running every day. Would I work for this department? I would. There's a lot of opportunity for advancement and for being creative in terms of finding a solution for issues, but I would much rather work with students directly instead of working with the students' money. I would like to get to see the students, so I think if I had my choice, I would stay in the position that I'm in now. Overall, the interview was a very enjoyable experience. It gave me kind of a professional interaction with my dad, and it allowed me to gain a more professional opinion and experience with him. He gave me a lot of inside perspective of his financial department, which was interesting because I've never really known how it worked. And he also gave me a lot of really valuable career advice that made me realize that the career decision that I have made to enter higher education administration was absolutely the right one. I love my job. I love working for South Georgia Tech. I look forward to getting up and going to work, and I'm not a morning person, so that's a really big deal. So talking to him really just solidified my decision to go into higher education administration. So these are my references. I hope that you enjoyed my interview. I certainly did. It was eye-opening for me. I look forward to hearing all of your interviews and getting to react to them. Thank you. Y'all have a great day.